You want to know what's really interesting about being any sort of public figure, even just like a minuscule one like myself. Um, I think the one thing I find most interesting about it is whenever people tend to infer meaning on things that you're saying when it's obvious that that's not what you're saying. For example, if I were to say, when I contracted COVID, I drank a lot of water because I was told that will help. Someone somewhere will say, Micah Curtis says water is cure for COVID, even though that's not what I said. Why do people do that? Well, it's because they are very angry at you for whatever reason. Now, funny thing about my life is that I've come to realize that there's quite a few people who are angry at me. And there's a good chunk of them have a good reason to be, which is part of the reason as to why my approach to it, instead of doubling down on everything, has been instead to try to be more self-reflective, which is what the last video I did was about in regards to talking about quitting, talking about the idea of that you'll always have people who doubt you or people who want you to fail. And I gave examples of that from my own life, because that's literally been most of my life, actually, is I've had people like that in it. And, members of the family who were like that for a time and then realized they were wrong and came around. And then, of course, other people that dislike you for whatever reason. Maybe they just don't like my face, which, get in line, I don't either. But, but as it stands, the way that I look at it is this, while I was on hiatus, which is what my vlogs and stuff like that are probably going to be on the YouTube channel about for at least a few more weeks while I continue down this kind of journey of self-discovery, is why exactly I have pissed as many people off as I did. And it's kind of interesting, because I'm of the opinion that everything that you do in life, whether it's a success or a failure, you should try to learn from it. Because if you don't try to learn from it, you will end up creating a situation that causes possible failure or just stress or things of that nature. And one thing that I realized while I took that time off was that I didn't analyze the success I had with 3 Nights, 4 Days. Now, this little book right here is obviously one that I'm very proud of. It's a gorgeous looking comic book. The writing was fantastic in it. Or at least it's some of the best that I've ever done. A lot of people really dug it. Some people have said that it's edgy, in which case I'm a 300 plus pound fucking metalhead. What do you expect? Like I like blood and guts. I'm a self-admitted gore hound. My favorite manga is Berserk. Guts is right there. This fucking Devil Man. I own a plush Cthulhu, for fuck's sake. But I had success with 3 Nights. I really did. We made $25,000. We sold, I want to say, close to 500 copies of it. Very good success, and I'm very proud of it. I can't wait to do the second book. It's already written. It's just we got to get through concept, and then we'll be able to put it on Indiegogo. But I would be lying if I said that that little bit of success that I got went to my head. It really did. My ego was out of control, and the funny thing about it is that my ego getting out of control was completely fucking unjustified in hindsight, which is probably why so many people are mad at me at this point, is because I didn't take the time to realize that my ego was completely and totally unjustified. It was a compounding of a lot of other things, of other successes that I had around the same time, starting my job at RT, working there, being a full-time writer, which I had wanted to be for like a decade. And finally having the time to do live streaming more often, and finally having the time to actually relax. Like, and the thing is like, I let it all get to my head, and I regret it, because it obviously made people mad. It obviously made people mad who wanted to be here, and now they're not, because my already fat head got even fatter because of ego. And that's the thing about, I guess what I should say, I learned from success. And again, not great success. There's two lessons I learned from it. The first success was, or the first, rather, I should say, the first lesson I learned was that allowing yourself to get an ego is literally the dumbest thing you could do in life. Because whenever you succeed at something, you have to maintain it. You have to maintain. There's going to be an expectation for you to maintain it. And if you're not able to maintain it, then, all of a sudden the foundation that you thought you set there is going to be a lot weaker than you realized. And you have to, you're not tempering your expectations of what the future is going to be properly. And that was probably why I let so much self-doubt creep in with Englewood Book 2 the first time I put it on Indiegogo. Was I thought to myself that it was going to be this explosive thing, because I'm Micah fucking Curtis, da-da-da-da-da. And to some people that name means something. And they enjoy my work, and they enjoy the live streams, and they enjoy the other things that I get to do. Which is awesome. And I'm grateful for all those people. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm some sort of a fucking megastar, and I should have never pretended in the first place. Because that's bravado. And that's a reflection. I think that part of the reason maybe I hate bravado so much is because I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else is at the end of the day. But the other thing that I learned is that there's always a bigger fish. There's always somebody out there that's going to be more than what you are. And if they catch you bragging about what you have, they're going to take what they have and they're going to hold it over you and check your ego for you. And there's a lot of people that did that to me. And some of the people who did it because they hate my fucking guts, which, again, some of that is deserved. Other people did it just so that they made me realize that I still had growth. I still had things I needed to do to get better. And if I didn't take the time to actually take that in and understand that there was the bigger fish, then I would never get to the point where I become the bigger fish, if that makes any sense. Because I would love to be one of these guys that is able to make six figures on his campaigns. Because not just because, that'd make my life easier, but just the simple fact that I could get a lot more done and the business would grow. I could have more books going at the same time, getting more out on a consistent basis, hire some hands to, help the shipping process move that much faster, so on and so forth. And I'm just not there yet. And maybe I will be someday, or maybe I won't, and God will take me down a different path. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, I just have to realize that I'm still in that point in my life where staying humble and grinding is going to be the most important thing that I could do. And so that's what I'm just gonna do, stream, have fun with people, and go from there. And then bit by bit, we'll see the goals met, and then we'll try to go beyond, and we'll try to, learn and become better, so on and so forth. So that is essentially what I learned from success, and ultimately that's what should be done. You have to learn from success and failure and quitting. You have to learn from all of these things. If you only learn from one of them, you're only getting half the story. So that's the long and short of that. And hopefully hopefully I'll continue to be blessed with the opportunity to keep entertaining people. I think, it's just as time has gone on, I've realized that to me is more important than anything else in the world. You know, personal stuff, figuring out my self-confidence issues and self-doubt and all that stuff. I have time to figure that out, and I will figure that out. I have no doubt that I can. It's just gonna be about prayer and, listening and trying to keep an open heart and an open mind. And then we'll get there someday, I just gotta keep grinding. And I've been grinding my whole life, in regards to any work that I've done. To get any leeway, I've always had to bite and claw and scratch to get there. But whenever I get there and I get that time to rest and reflect on those things, what I really want is just those days where I can look at it and go, that was worth it. So, with that said, Englewood Book 2, let's check on that. We are almost at $2,500, which is almost a quarter of the way there. So if you haven't backed the book yet, then please consider doing so. We get a lot of great tiers here. And hopefully in the near future I'll be ungraded to talk about it, and talk about it from a different perspective than the last time. I was actually on with Michael from, why am I forgetting the name? I was just on the fucking show with him and Frog G. High Desert Comics, is that the name? Am I getting it right? Please tell me I'm getting it right. Yes, High Desert Comics. I was on with him and Frog G earlier this morning, oddly enough, after I had gone on an ATM run at like 3 in the morning. So, that was a lot of fun. I like talking to those guys because they just let me talk about the things that I love. So, I'll have to go on there again sometime. But anyway. But we will grind and we will get there. One thing that, real quick before I end this recording and get into what the stream is about, we do have stretch goals available. We get to 15K, we're going to get trading cards for every backer. So every backer who backs up to that point and anybody who backs after we get to 15K, you're going to get 3 free trading cards, one of the Saint and one of 2 other characters. At 20K, we are doing a Preston Acevedo alternate cover. Which I have an idea of what I want to do with it, and it will be fucking awesome. And then, last but not least, we'll be doing, if we hit 25K, everybody will get a bonus print from Papa Kinesu, who is named Kenny Gordon. He is a really, really talented artist. You can actually find him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Papa_Kinesu. And the dude is a very talented artist, and we talked about what he would want to do in regards to prints and stuff like that. So we're gonna do a bikini pinup of Angelica, and let me show off the dude's art here. As you can see, that he's super talented. So I'm excited to do to get to that point. Hopefully we get there. So, needless to say, at the end of the day, you got to keep grinding. You got to stay humble. It's the best way to live. And I'm looking forward to getting back to basics in that regard. That's for sure.